Hi, everybody, and welcome into the Hall of Champions. We're in the new on-campus CSU football stadium, and welcome to Bighorns Live as we count down to all the signees here in the early signing period for Colorado State Ram football. Welcome, everybody. Brian Roth, your host. Great to have everybody with us here. And here's what you can expect coming up over the next 2 hours. We'll be on air until 3 o'clock here today. And, of course, we'll introduce you to all of the latest signees. And Colorado State so far 16 signees. Could there be more? Maybe. You'll have to tune in for the rest of the show to find out about that. We'll also talk to head coach Mike Bobo. He's going to join us in about 10 minutes. We'll get Mike's thoughts on the entire recruiting class. And again, this is a new situation. The first time that there is an early signing period in the sport of football. There still is the normal signing period as well coming up on February the 7th. But hey, this is new to everybody across the country. We'll get Mike's thoughts about that as well. We'll also take a look at Michael Gallup in his record-breaking season at Colorado State, of course, a Biletnikoff finalist. And then we'll talk to Joe Parker later on in the program. Joe, of course, the Director of Athletics here at Colorado State University. A big, big day here in Fort Collins for Mike Bobo and his coaching staff as they try to put together the next group of Colorado State Rams that will be going out there and competing right here at the beautiful on-campus stadium. So that's a snapshot of what we have coming up here over the course of the next hour. We're great to have you, of course, 2 hours. We'll be going until 3 o'clock. Great to have you aboard with us here this afternoon, December 20th, as the yearly signing period is officially upon us. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll continue along. When we come back, we'll be joined by the head football coach at Colorado State University. This is Bighorns Live on CSURams.com. Stay with us.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Are you ready? Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights. Now watch me set it off. Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights. Now watch me turn it on.
Everyone wants to write their own story, to take on something a little bigger than themselves. Sure, you'll face some hurdles along the way, but they're an opportunity. They make you stronger, and they won't break you, they'll make you. Get started at Blue Federal Credit Union, exclusive credit union of CSU Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
All right, welcome back here to Bighorns Live right here on CSURams.com. We're coming to you live from the Hall of Champions here at the CSU on-campus stadium. Voice of the Rams, Brian Roth, back with you. And again, we'll take you right up until 3 o'clock as we unveil the latest recruiting class for Colorado State. Of course, not the entire group of signees. Again, still have the February 7th date where high school kids and junior college athletes can also sign with their respective schools. All right, mentioned Mike Bobo is going to join us here momentarily, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the big board and who has signed here at Colorado State. A total of 16 have already pledge their allegiance to Colorado State, and this is what we see on offense. So again, you see a pretty significant number we're going to see on defense here in just a moment. But there's Trey McBride. Of course, he is the younger brother of Toby McBride, the Fort Morgan native. And hey, remember the last tight end that Colorado State got from Fort Morgan? Yeah, a guy by the name of Joel Dreesen. Well, Trey McBride also coming here to Colorado State. Another couple Denver kids from Mullen High School. Florian McCann along the offensive line. He goes 6'5", 270 pounds. And then Ajon Vivens, wide receiver, also out of Denver and Mullen High School, played for Tom Thinnell down there. Vivens also doubled as a running back here this season, was the leading rusher for the Mullen Mustangs this season, and was also one of their top receivers. And then Ross Ryder, a long snapper from Phoenix, Arizona. Of course, Colorado State losing Trent Sieg, who has been their long snapper the last few years. And again, they get Ryder, who they expect to be a kid that plays for him for 4 years. All right, there's the defensive side, and yeah, a lot of them. 11 defensive players and a couple of junior college kids in the mix there as well, including Jan Philippe Bombeck. Kid from Hamburg, Germany, played his junior college ball out in California. In fact, there's a kid that paid his own way to play junior college football and now going to be on scholarship here at Colorado State. And, well, another kid that we see that is also a brother of a current Colorado State Ram, and Zach Schlager, linebacker out of McCook, Nebraska. Of course, his brother, Jake Schlager, who is going to be graduating here this season with Colorado State. Jake playing well over 50 games in his career at Colorado State. But you see some of the linebackers and then defensive linemen as well for Colorado State, and Daly, Darrow, of course, Bombeck as well in that group for Colorado State. So again, 16 overall there. You have 11 on the defensive side, 4 on the offensive side, and of course a long snapper in Ross Ryder as well. So Colorado State may have 1 or 2 more recruits coming in. We'll talk to head coach Mike Bobo about that. And overall, Rams looking to sign about 26 here. Now, the NCAA has put a cap on scholarships per year at 25, but the Rams had 1 left over from last year. So Colorado State, when all is said and done, probably going to sign a class of about 26. So right now, it's sitting at 16. If they get 1 or 2 more, it'd go to 17, possibly 18. And then, of course, Colorado State coming up in the February signing period on February the 7th will close out that recruiting class. All right, so that's a look at who the Rams have coming in with this early signing period. We'll take another timeout, and when we come back, we'll get the comments of head coach Mike Bobo. That comes up next. You're watching Bighorns Live right here on CSURams.com.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Shields.
Be there when an incredible college basketball season becomes absolute madness. Don't miss the 2018 Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, March 5th through the 10th in Las Vegas. The only way to experience the madness is to be there. Get tickets now at your favorite team's athletic ticket office or visit the MW.com/2018. The Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. Experience the madness.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Test scores, GPAs, credits complete. They say what you've done, but they're only part of who you will become. With each new experience, discovery, and triumph, you become who you were always meant to be. And what you'll remember most is your state of curiosity, state of unity, state of awe.
Bighorns Live here this afternoon, brought to you by Shields, your all-sports retail destination and the official orange outlet of Colorado State, and by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com and take on game day. All right, welcome back here to Bighorns Live, coming to you from the Hall of Champions here at the CSU Stadium. On campus, Brian Roth, your host. Again, Mike Bobo, head football coach at Colorado State, going to join me momentarily. But first, some housekeeping to get to. And don't forget, 2018 football season tickets, they are on sale now. And fans are able to purchase the new season tickets as well. All you have to do is call 1-800-491-RAMS. Again, 800-491-RAMS, or you can go to csurams.com/tickets, and you can take advantage of affordable payment plans that they have available. Also, don't forget 3 locations of Ram Zone, the official store of Colorado State Ram Athletics. You can stop by for the latest officially licensed CSU merchandise and gear. 3 convenient locations at the CSU Stadium, Old Town Fort Collins, and of course down in Denver at the Denver Center. And of course, never too late to join Ram Club. You can help support nearly 400 Colorado State student athletes by joining the Ram Club here today. To learn how you can make your impact, visit csurams.com/Ram Club, or you can call 970-491-4666 to learn more. Again, Rams Club help support nearly 400 student athletes. And of course, you can always follow Colorado State Ram football on social media, and you can receive up to the second team news and of course a ton of unique content also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course Snapchat, CSU Rams football. All right, still awaiting some comments from head coach Mike Bobo as we come to you live here on CSURams.com. I'm your host, Brian Roth, and again, we're going to be here up until 3 o'clock here this afternoon, introducing you to the latest signees for Colorado State Ram football. We will have full highlights of every single kid that has signed here at Colorado State here today. And again, that's coming up. We have Joe Parker, Director of Athletics at Colorado State, also coming up a little bit later on in the program. And then Assistant Athletic Director for Marketing, Nick Popowell, will make an appearance on the program too. Nick, of course, is a guy who has been heavily involved with the stadium and the marketing of the stadium. We'll talk to Nick about the fan experience here this season here at Colorado State. And boy, the new on-campus stadium, you couldn't have asked for a better year and better opener against the Oregon State Beavers, and Colorado State again coming on top in that first game. The beautiful weather, first game of the college football season, and Colorado State able to top the Beavers, and it'll certainly again live in the memory of a lot of Colorado State football fans for many, many years to come. 20, 30, 40 years down the line, you're going to be able to talk about that opener of the on-campus stadium and that big victory against Oregon State. So again, it's a Colorado State football team that'll be right back in the new stadium coming up next season as well. All right, well, as advertised, we're joined by the head football coach at Colorado State, Mike Bobo, sneaking in just in time.
You're looking sharp today.
I know. I dressed up just for you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, listen, hey, congratulations on another class. You guys have signed 16 so far. Will we have any more signees?
Yeah, there's a chance for one more guy. Should get a word here any minute now. But really pleased with the day so far of our guys. As you can tell, we attacked defense pretty heavy in this class, and excited about a lot of these young men.
All right, well, let's start off with some of the in-state kids, Mike. And this is certainly the state of Colorado has a handful of Division I players each and every year, but you went the brother route with the Ford Morgan tight end and Trey McBride.
Well, I think Trey McBride is a special football player. Obviously we've got Toby in our program, and Toby came to camp the year before his senior year and basically got a scholarship off his performance at camp. He's a blue-collar tough kid from Fort Morgan, made a lot of plays for us as a freshman. Unfortunately, he got his back hurt this year, and he's going to be able to get a red shirt out of that, hopefully, and have 3 more years with us. But his brother is an offensive player. Trey is an unbelievable athlete for 2 years in a row. He's been one of the best performers at our camp. I think he has a huge upside as a tight end. He's 6'3". He has a size 10-inch hand, or maybe 10 and a half, maybe a little bit bigger than Toby's. He's got huge hands. He's almost 250 pounds right now as a senior in high school. He's got a chance to be a really, really good player for us.
Of course, we talked about the Colorado kids, and just about all of them are offensive guys. Talk about the 2 Mullen kids and the offensive lineman, Florian McCann, and then Ajon Vivens, who not only played wide receiver, but also ran the football for Mullen.
Yeah, Ajon is a special player from Mullen High School. He's a little bit of do-everything type of player. He's what I like to call a football player. He's not just a receiver. He was a guy that Coach Thinnell tried to get the ball in his hands, and that's what you look for when you're looking for a skilled player. How do they use it? Do they try to use him? Do they try to get the ball in his hands? And the thing I love about Ajon is his toughness, his willingness to block, his willingness to put his face on somebody, plays hard without the football. And then Florian is a guy that came to camp. We had not offered him a scholarship yet, and convinced him to come to camp and try to earn his scholarship. And we had a lot of guys here from in-state that were really good offensive linemen, and Florian came and performed extremely well, and offered him after that camp, and then committed the next, I think, a few days after camp.
All right, so there's a look at some of the Colorado kids that are going to make their way up here to Colorado State to play for the Rams. May as well stick offensively. And another tight end to go along with McBride in this class, and a kid in Gary Williams. He comes to you from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, Gary's another talented tight end, has an extremely high ceiling. He's got an awesome skill set, which, the thing about his high school, Vance High School, and Coach Brown, they do a great job using tight ends. He's had a lot of tight ends go places and play college football. They're not just split out. It's a tight end that's going to put his hand in the dirt, knows how to block a 6 technique, has toughness, and then Gary's ability to run after the catch, I think, is exceptional. Another guy with a huge ceiling. Just love Gary. He's over a 3.0 student, an excellent student, has a great family. His mom, Katina, and his dad, Derek, are excited to be part of the program, and we're excited to have him.
Yeah, Gary, again, coming all the way from North Carolina, and a guy that signed very early, at his letter of intent very early in here this morning. Okay, let's get to the defensive side of the ball. 11 guys so far on defense, and you do get a couple of junior college guys. Let's talk about them. And the kid from Germany, Jan Philippe Bombeck.
Good job.
That's right. How'd you guys find this kid out? Obviously, he came to play football at the junior college level in California.
He was a guy that, from Germany that, started football a little bit late and thought he could play collegiate football, and came over to the States and, went the junior college route, had some offers last year and thought he was a little bit better than those offers, and went back to junior college. And, we were looking for a guy that could, replace Evan Colorado. He kind of fits that mold. He's blue collar, he's tough, he's relentless effort to try to get the quarterback. And, he was a guy that was we watched on tape, I loved, and just wanted to verify his size. And here's a guy that's, a little bit over 6'3", 250 pounds. Coach Whitted is the guy that found him. He recruits California, that area, the junior colleges. Went and saw him and said his size checked out, and we offered him. He came on a visit, and he committed, and, we're fired up. I think he sent his letter of intent in around 12 a.m. this morning. That might have been 7 a.m. Germany time,
right.
But he wants to come. He wants to play football. He wants to wreak havoc. He wants to attack the quarterback. This guy has a mindset. You wouldn't know he's from Germany. He's got a mindset of a defensive player that he just wants to cause havoc on defense.
All right, so he could come in and possibly play that buck position for you. You mentioned with the loss of Evan Colorado, who is going to be graduating. And then Damian Dickens, another junior college kid that – you look at him, he's a Power 5 caliber type kid.
I'm extremely excited about Damian Dickens, and he's a mid-year. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that him and Jan can come in mid-year. Jan Philippe. So Jan Philippe and Damian can come in mid-year, and they're going to be guys that can practice this spring, which is going to be huge for us. But Damian is a 6'3", 260, 265-pound defensive lineman that is going to play a defensive end. He'll play over a tight end. He's your 6 technique type body, and a bigger guy with a bigger frame. has more mass on him, and that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to get bigger. We're looking to get more athletic. Here's two guys that are extremely athletic, that can be on the edge, that can set the edge in the run game, and that can rush the passer. And Damien is a guy that can move down to a 3 technique in pass rushing situations and generate more pass rushes, which we need defensively. Is we got to be able to anchor the front, and then we got to be able to pass rush on third downs.
All right, well, and Mike, this just in, as you guys have signed Devin Phillips, nose guard from Neville High School in Louisiana, CSU's first ever top 300 and second ever ESPN 4-star recruit. And of course, we have a little family thing going here at CSU.
Yeah, Devin is a guy that, obviously Joctavius is a young offensive line foreman for us, and we signed him late last year and has a bright future for us. And Devin is a guy that's been on our radar for 2 years. He is a powerful young man. This guy weighs anywhere from 300 to 310 pounds. He's around 6'1", 6'2". He has a low center of gravity. He's a guy, I think, that can anchor the middle of our defensive line for a long time. And he's an awesome offensive guard too. Before Coach Friend left and Devin was on his visit, he was trying to recruit Devin to play offensive line. He can do that. There's no doubt about it that he could be, an All-American type offensive lineman for us too. But he has exceptional power, exceptional quickness at the front, and he's a guy that I think that we finally got can anchor the center of our defensive line.
Yeah, and again, the first ever ESPN top 300 recruit coming to Colorado State, and the first ever ESPN 4-star recruit coming to Colorado State. So congratulations on that.
That's exciting. I hope he's a 4-star when he graduates here from the university and leads us to some championships. But that's something that he earned through his high school play. He plays on a very good high school football team in Neville High School. That they know how to win. They know how to compete. They're competing for championships every year. He plays in an extremely tough league. He goes against good guys week in and week out. This guy's going to make a difference for us immediately.
Yeah, again, his brother Joctavius was the signee last February, and redshirted for Colorado State here this past season. All right, some other defensive linemen coming out of high school, and again, that was an area of need. Let's go through a couple of them. Damian Daly, Brandon Darrow, a couple of those guys, along with Troy Golden, who could be a hybrid end linebacker.
Well,
right?
Damian Daly's definitely a defensive lineman.
Right.
He's around 6'3" and a half. Close to 270 pounds right now out of high school. Extremely athletic. If you look at his film, you can tell how athletic he is because he's light on his feet. Coach Parks at his high school uses him some as an offensive guy in the backfield in short yardage and goal line situations. So that tells you what type of athlete he is. His brother's the starting left tackle for University of South Carolina. It's in his genes. He's a great kid that had a lot of stuff going on. We got on a little bit late as a coaching staff, but got in there. We're able to form a relationship. We're able to go sit down with his mom, Stephanie. He's got a great family. He came out here, didn't know what really to expect, fell in love with Colorado and Fort Collins like we all do, and thought it was home for him. And, here's a guy that, a lot of schools were trying to get him to wait till February, like a lot of these guys, some bigger schools. And he said, no, I feel comfortable at Colorado State. I want to go there and I want to play. He made their Shrine Bowl team in South Carolina. Extremely athletic guy. And another big guy that's athletic that'll help our front.
And a kid who played high school ball with Cameron
Butler. And Cameron Butler was a guy that I felt like we stole out of South Carolina last year. I was extremely worried about some guys were talking to him, and we were able to, get him out here, and came out here and played a lot for us at freshman. Started a lot of games. I think that helps, started a little bit of a pipeline, in South Carolina. Coach Cox has done a great job in the Carolinas. Coach Applewhite has done a great job in Louisiana. You start to get one player, then you get the next. They come out here. They've got people they're familiar with. They see those young men have success on the football field. They also talk to our players about, what it's like here in Fort Collins, what the coaching staff's like, what the community's like, and it's something that fires those kids up because they're looking for a home away from home.
All right, so let's talk about a few more of those defensive players. Let's go to linebacker. And again, Zach Schlager is another one of those brother connections. His brother, Jake Schlager, of course, a longtime member at Colorado State who is since going to be graduating. What does Zach bring to the table? I know he's a little bit bigger, isn't he?
Well, he's got to play 56 games. It's what he's got to play in 56 games.
Big shoes to fill
for his brother, Jake, who, did a lot for this program. He was the ultimate blue-collar guy that would do whatever it took, for Colorado State, whether it was running down on the kickoff or playing on punt return or playing safety. And Zach has that mentality. His dad, Russ, is a high school coach. They live on a farm. They work hard. They grew up working on the farm and doing chores. And I love that they have a work ethic. So here's a guy that's going to come in and be totally unselfish. He's a little bit bigger than Zach. He's a guy that we think can be a linebacker for us because he can run. He plays high school quarterback for them, plays running back. He runs the hurdles in the state. He's going to be in the state track meet in the hurdles. So extremely athletic, got speed, got size, loves to hit.
Yep, and again, multi-sport guys. I know it's fading a little bit as for the longer we get, but it's good to see he also plays basketball as well. And then a kid who really has great size at that linebacker position is Rushton Roberts.
Yeah, Rushton Roberts, and I go back to Brandon DeRoe.
Right.
Are two guys. Sure. Brandon is a guy that's probably 6'2.5", close to 235. Rushton is close to 6'5". He's around 220. He told me 216 last night.
Okay.
His mom was, she was feeding him kale salad. I told her she needed to get some more meat and potatoes on the table. But, Robin and Matthew, great parents. Chris and Linda, Brandon's parents, are awesome people. These are good, solid kids that are going to be blue collar, going to work hard, have good frames that I think are going to develop. And we got to wait to see what they grow into. Rushton is a guy that rushed a passer, played a lot of spots for Bowles High School. He's a guy that I see we might back up and play, at the linebacker level. He reminds me a lot of number 38 at Boise State, a tall guy that can run, is athletic, that can hit. But he might grow into be 250 pounds, and he might be a buck linebacker. He might be the next Evan Colorado. So we got to see what he can do. Brandon DeRoe is very similar, tough blue-collar kid that, is probably going to have his hand in the dirt. We just got to get some weight on him and get him a little bit bigger.
And then, of course, just a few minutes ago, you announced the signing of Daquan Jackson, a linebacker, and you guys are right back in to the state of Florida. He's out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm extremely fired up about Daquan Jackson now. You turn on the tape and you look at Daquan Jackson, that's what I want as a football player to look like. He is big, he can run, and he loves to hit. And he makes play after play on his tape. He runs sideline to sideline. He's extremely athletic. And here's a kid, I thought we were going to have to battle till February. All our coaches were here last night. We ordered barbecue. We stayed here at about 12. We were on the phone with Daquan to probably about 11:30 his time last night, and just talking about the opportunity. In his heart, he knew he wanted to be here. Yeah. It was a matter of going ahead and making that decision. And his mom Sheena was awesome, and gave the blessing, this morning, and we got it done, about midday in Jacksonville, and extremely, extremely excited about Daquan. I think he knew he wanted to do it and was kind of trying to surprise us, which I was completely surprised. That's a big-time get for Colorado State in the future of this defense.
All right, and then, of course, let's talk about the back end of that defense as well. You're going to, as we mentioned, lose Jake Schlager. You're losing Sean Johnson, Justin Sweet, Kevin Jr., all guys that have departed and graduated. Signed a couple of safeties of this class in Taiwan Francis and Quinn Brennan.
Well, Taiwan is a kid that we got on a little bit late from Louisiana. Had a couple things going, came out here with his dad and his brother a couple weeks ago and fell in love with the place. Had a previous relationship with Darius May, which helped. But here's a guy that has extremely high energy and wants to play football. I mean, during our visit, he kept going out on the football field and running around like he was making plays and turning to the crowd, and he was just extremely excited to be here. And to get him on board, he's a guy that could play safety, he could play nickel, he could play corner for us. You turn on his film, you see he has range, you see he loves to hit, he's extremely athletic. And then Quinn Brennan, one of my favorite guys on this class. I'm talking to defensive coordinators right now, and a lot of times they like to try to do their homework and look at your signees. And I had one just say that the safety that y'all got from Oakland, I love him. And that's that's good to hear. It's kind of validation of your evaluation as a coach. But here's a guy that has tremendous range, extremely athletic, never played quarterback in his life. And he had to play quarterback this year, and he was extremely effective at quarterback, throwing and running the ball. I told him he might have to be our emergency quarterback. But another kid that has been solid for us for a long time, and stayed solid and trusted me and trusted where we're going into this program. And it's tough to do when you don't have a defensive coordinator and missing some components of your staff. And for these kids and these families to believe in what we're doing here, I think that fires me up. Because they believe in me, they believe in Colorado State, they believe in our administration, they believe in our fan base, they believe in what we're doing here at Colorado State. And here's a guy that the last 2 nights have had Power 5 people call him over and over and over trying to get him to sign. And him and his sister last night were baking sugar cookies with Colorado State on them. And I'm fired up to get Quinn and another great family. That all these guys are good players, but they're good family kids where family's important to them, and they want to come here and make a difference.
Yeah, Quinn going to Bishop O'Dowd High School, great high school football program out there in Oakland. And then those are the 2 safeties. You guys did get a defensive back in this class as well, and Rashad Ajayi.
Yeah, Rashad Ajayi. Got on late with Rashad, got him to visit. Wasn't really sure. Probably what I hear out of every recruit and every parent's mouth when they get here. This wasn't what I expected. Came with his mom, Janine, and his dad, Rami, and fell in love with the place. And, took some other visits after, had a lot of people call him after, turned down a lot of stuff. But in his heart, he knew Colorado State was the place for him. And that fired me up. That fired his parents up. That, for the first time in his life, he had to make that decision that men have to make, or being grown up, and had a lot of pressure and did something what people thought he probably shouldn't do, based on perception. And his parents deep down wanted him to come here, but they didn't want to say it. And for him to come out and tell some other people no and come here because he felt this was the right place for him, I'm extremely excited for him. Here's a guy that's probably 5'11", 175 pounds, has a long wingspan. I think he's the kind of corner that I'm looking for that's got length and got speed, so I'm excited about him. Speaking of wingspan, Daquan Jackson, he's 6'1.5", probably 210 pounds, has a 6'7.5" wingspan at linebacker. This I keep talking about him, but this guy right here, look for him to play immediately.
So there's a look at, again, the class that is coming, 17 in all. And, again, Mike went through every single one. We forgot the long snapper, didn't we? Ross Ryder.
Yes.
And Ryder's a guy who I know came to your camp, impressed you guys. You're losing Trent Sieg, and I had to fill that, and you decided to use a scholarship.
I'm not. Did Trent snap the year before I got here? I don't know if he was the snap, but he's been a 3-year starter for me.
For you, right.
And he was a guy we awarded a scholarship. Was very dependable, very accurate for us. And Ross was a guy that came to our specialist camp, performed extremely well. We offered him that day, committed a couple days later, been extremely solid. He has a brother that snaps for the University of Arizona, so it's in his family, long snap. And I told him today, you're the only guy that I'm going to talk to that has to be 100% perfect your 4 years here. You cannot have a bad play. And he said, I'm on it, Coach. I will not have a bad snap. So I'm excited about Ross as well.
That is funny. All right, so 17 overall players. Is that right around the number you guys were hoping to hit on here in this December?
I thought it could be anywhere from 13 to 18.
Okay.
Got a couple surprises today in Daquan, who we thought was going to sign in February. Devin, we felt good about for a while, and good to get him on paper because had a lot of stuff going and, felt comfortable. His mom, Jacqueline, felt good about this place, the way we've treated Joctavius and the direction he's headed, and Devin felt at home. So it's good to have him here. And now we got to regroup. We got to go back in and we got to reset our board, and it's going to be a 5.5-week sprint to the first Wednesday in February, and identifying more players and evaluating those guys and trying to find the best fit for Colorado State. And then at the same time, trying to build this coaching staff to get the right guys in here, to lead these football players.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you that because this is strange. Again, it's the first year that we've ever had the early signing period in the sport of football. Again, we've had it in other sports. How does your preparation now go for the upcoming February signing day? I mean, you obviously still have your targets that maybe said, hey, I'm going to wait till February, but is it almost starting over?
There are some targets out there, but, the message that, we had, going into this day, if you don't sign on December 20th, there's no guarantee after December 20th. So, it's, there's going to be some guys that are still going to be on the board and we're going to recruit. But at the same time, we got to get a lot of coaches in here. We got to reevaluate guys. We got to get the best fit. And then it's almost a new board and it's a brand new start of where we're going and who we're attacking, trying to fill the needs to fit, what we're trying to do defensively and offensively.
Overall, the new signing period go okay? I mean, nobody really knew.
I think you've got. Now you're still having one night of stress the day before the draft when everybody's trying to steal your players. Now you've got two. We're still going to have the same issue first Wednesday in February. Guys are going to try to, call our guys and steal them at the last minute. But that's our job, to build relationships with those guys and make them feel like this is the best place for them. And not really make them. I think it's a feeling that they have. And it takes a strong individual sometimes to do what the public or society might say, hey, you should do based off of perception, which when they get here, it's not perception, it's real. This place is real, these people are real, and I think they're excited about being Rams.
Yep, Fort Collins sells itself, no question, and this beautiful building, Hall of Champions, new stadium certainly helps as well. Hey, one final thought before we let you go. I know Ram fans are wondering, what is the timetable for you and your staff to get a new defensive coordinator and a new offensive coordinator?
When I find the right guy.
When you find the right guy.
At the end of the day, I got to find the right guy that's going to be the right fit for this staff, these players, and this program. And that's the most, most important thing. A guy that wants to be here. I want guys that want to be here and believe in what we're doing as a university administration and what I'm doing. Right. And there's a lot of great candidates out there. I'm talking to a lot of great guys, and it's finding the right fit for this program moving forward.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys will be able to get a little rest here in the next couple of days.
No rest. We're going to have a white Christmas, so I'm excited about that. Growing up in South Georgia, you dreamed about white Christmases.
White and cold.
I didn't say it's not cold out here.
No,
Never.
It's not.
No,
it's not. It's going to be a white Christmas.
It's going to be a white Christmas.
I know. We haven't had much snow at all in this entire winter. Finally going to get some. Congratulations to you and your staff. Great class, 17 players. We're happy to see him as Rams.
Yep, I'm excited. Thanks, Brian.
That's head coach Mike Bobo. We'll take a timeout. We continue with Bighorns Live following this on CSURams.com.
Have you noticed today that people are in love with local? We believe in local too and have been custom crafting financial solutions since 1951. From hometown breweries to farmers markets, we strive to do banking with the same love and craft you've grown to count on. Blue Federal Credit Union. For you, for life.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Shields.
Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me set it off. Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me turn it on.
Everyone wants to write their own story, to take on something a little bigger than themselves. Sure, you'll face some hurdles along the way, but they're an opportunity. They make you stronger, and they won't break you, they'll make you. Get started at Blue Federal Credit Union, exclusive credit union of CSU Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
All right, welcome back here to Bighorns Live. We're live here at the Hall of Champions at the CSU Stadium on the campus of Colorado State University. Brian Roth back with you again. Big thank you to head football coach Mike Bobo joining us. And again, how about that late announcement? Devin Phillips, the younger brother of Joctavius Phillips, who of course was signed last February, redshirt offensive lineman for Colorado State. Devin, 300 pounds coming to Colorado State. That is a big, big get for Colorado State. We're going to show you some of the highlights of all of the recruits. Again, 17 in all here signed today by Mike and his staff in a moment. But first, one of the great things about the partnership between Colorado State and Under Armour, of course, the uniforms. And, well, right there at the top of the list here this year, those State Pride uniforms. And, boy, how cool were those things. And just about everybody that I talked to going into the game and then watching them live at the game certainly said that those things were about as cool as they get. Again, that Colorado flag well represented. You had the blue, the red, the gold as well. And it was something that certainly gained a lot of national attention. And, of course, the Aggie Orange. Boy, it's something that has been in the repertoire of Colorado State now for just about the past 8 years. And Rams have never lost in the Aggie Orange. Of course, got the victory here this year over Abilene Christian in the third game of the year. Rams knocked off the Wildcats by the count of 38-10. And the Aggie Orange always welcome at Colorado State. And, of course, the great white helmets with the bone curl that comes in green. We saw the Rams debut these at the New Mexico Bowl last Saturday. And again, along the lines of the State Pride uniforms, these helmets, an all-around hit, and expect to see those helmets coming up in the future. Those things are terrific. And then, of course, you can't forget about the green and gold, the vintage Ram uniforms from Under Armour. And there's no better helmet in college football than the green and gold with that vivid gold Ram curl. Again, that's a look at the uniforms for Colorado State. And again, terrific partnership between Colorado State and Under Armour. All right, so without further ado, let's start introducing you a little more in depth and show you some of the highlights of some of the new assignees to Colorado State Ram football.
Rashad Ajayi of Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. A 5'11", 175-pound cornerback, rated 3-star by 24/7. In high school, Rashad had 88 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 3 interceptions, and 17 passes defended.
Ajayi out of Fairburn, Georgia, 15 offers, and near the end, it sounded like it was coming down to Pittsburgh and Colorado State, and the Rams will get the 5'11" defensive back, as you heard Mike Bobo say, with the long wingspan. Welcome to Fort Collins, Rashad.
Jan Philip Bombeck of Feather River College in Plumas County, California. A 6'4", 255-pound defensive lineman who moved from Germany to play American football at Feather River College. As a sophomore, Jan Philip had 27 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. To junior college, and as you heard Mike Bobo say,
didn't necessarily like the offers he had after the first year in junior college, decided to go back to JC, and now lands at Colorado State, and you see the good size. 6'4", 255. He will be enrolled in school in January and will participate in spring football.
Damian Daly of Ridgeview High School in Columbia, South Carolina. A 6'4", 260-pound defensive lineman rated 3-star by 24/7 and Rivals. In high school, Damian had 164 tackles, 42 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 recoveries. He was selected to represent South Carolina in the Shrine Bowl.
All right, Damian Daly, there you see it's 6'4", 260, a kid coming from Columbia, South Carolina. And again, the high school teammate of Cameron Butler down there in South Carolina. The 18 reported offers, but he is a Colorado State Ram. All right, so there's a glimpse of some of the first signees here today that have put the name on the dotted line and are officially Colorado State Rams. We'll take a timeout. More to come here on Bighorns Live on CSURams.com. We'll continue to see some of the highlights of the latest signees. Stay with us.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Test scores, GPAs, credits complete. They say what you've done, but they're only part of who you will become. With each new experience, discovery, and triumph, you become who you were always meant to be. And what you'll remember most is your state of curiosity, state of unity, state of awe.
Everyone wants to write their own story, to take on something a little bigger than themselves. Sure, you'll face some hurdles along the way, but they're an opportunity. They make you stronger, and they won't break you, they'll make you. Get started at Blue Federal Credit Union, exclusive credit union of CSU Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me set it off. Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me turn it on.
All right, welcome back to Bighorns Live as we come to you here from the Hall of Champions in the CSU on-campus stadium. Brian Roth back with you. Well, again, we have Director of Athletics Joe Parker coming up a little bit later on in the show as we take you right up until 3 o'clock. And, of course, more videos of the 17 signees that have pledged to play football at Colorado State. But, of course, you look back to this 2017 season, and one of the biggest storylines, if not the biggest, was the play of senior wide receiver Michael Gallup, a consensus All-American, just the 4th in the history of Colorado State University. And of course, he was also a Biletnikoff Award finalist that took him back to his home state of Georgia.
been a great experience. A lot of people don't get to do what I'm doing right now, and some of the best players in the country you get to converse with, talk to, and see how they got here and what their background story was. And it's just been a fun trip for me, even getting to come back home for a couple days. It's pretty cool to see how the game's evolved and what they used to wear compared to what we wear now, and just seeing a bunch of legends in the Hall of Fame that I didn't even know about in college football.
Going to Billboard,
utilized him great, found ways to get the ball to him, and I think that's something that Mike and his staff have really done well, is find a way to get the ball to your best player. And when you show that type of confidence in a player, and he's got the ability that Michael has, and he can deliver for you. So the sport is not just the Power Five. There is a difference overall week in and week out, but it doesn't mean that there aren't players and teams and situations in the group of five that can't beat anybody at the higher level. And Colorado State has a recent history of putting very good receivers out too. So Michael's just the next guy in that list. So it is good to be able to see people from group of five schools who bust their tails and are certainly very talented, many of whom go on to have outstanding pro careers, get the recognition that they've earned.
Personally, it hasn't sunk in yet. People keep telling me, you're at the top where everybody wants to be at, and it hasn't sunk in yet, but I believe in a couple days after I figure out where I just came from, it'll sink in.
Welcome to the heart of Atlanta, and a very special 2 hours in the sport that we all love. We come to you from this beautiful shrine to the past and the present of college football.
I'm definitely excited for the red carpet. Everybody wants to walk on the red carpet. It was a lot. Very excited to be here, though. That was probably the funnest I've had in a while. I'm not gonna tell you any lie. Didn't like I expected it to be. Thought it was gonna be a little bit more calmed down, but it was pretty crazy. I liked it. Definitely cool to have Coach with. Without him, I wouldn't be here. Growing up, I always honestly thought I was going to be a basketball player. And then when I got into college, at the junior college level, I wanted to be a finalist, but, it was kind of a long shot. And, I can say I made it.
All right, so there you see the final numbers from Michael Gallup here this year. The 100 catches, that was a new school record. Broke the previous record by Rashard Higgins. Of course, he had 76 receptions last year, and then the 1,413 receiving yards, second all-time, also second to Rashard Higgins back in 2014. And, well, you talk about where Michael Gallup fits in the career at Colorado State. Fifth in all-time receptions at 176, sixth in all-time yards at over 2,600, and then second in receiving touchdowns at 21. And again, those are all great rankings for Michael Gallup. But to think that he did that in just 2 years make those numbers just that much more exceptional. Michael Gallup certainly, truly going to go down as one of the all-time great Rams. All right, perhaps Mike Bobo and his staff have found one of the all-time great Rams in this signing class. We certainly hope so here at Colorado State. And let's continue to introduce you to this early signing class at CSU.
Brandon Darrow of St. Francis de Sales High School in Columbus, Ohio. A 6'4", 243-pound defensive lineman rated 3-star by ESPN and 24/7.
Again, Darrow, a 3-star defensive lineman out of Columbus, Ohio. He was an all-state selection. And again, we really see Colorado State going into the defensive side of the football here with the 17-player class, 12 on defense, including Brandon Darrow.
Damian Dickens of Copiah Lincoln Community College in Lexington, Mississippi. A 6'3", 245-pound defensive lineman rated 3-star by ESPN, 24/7, and Rivals. Damian is the number 79 ranked junior college prospect in the nation. As a sophomore at Copiah Lincoln Community College, Damian reported 30 tackles, 3 sacks, and 10 tackles for loss.
All right, so there you see Damian Dickens, and this is a kid who is a Power 5 caliber type of athlete, and originally verbal to Kansas. And again, like Jan-Philippe Bombeck, he is going to enroll in January and will be with Colorado State for spring football.
Tywan Francis of Landry Walker High School in New Orleans, Louisiana. A 5'11", 180-pound safety, rated 3-star by 24/7. As a senior in high school, Tywan led his team in tackles with 5 forced fumbles, 1 pick six, and 18 passes defended.
Again, there's Tywan Francis, the safety out of New Orleans. We heard head coach Mike Bobo say a bit of a connection with Tywan and Darius May, who, of course, is a redshirt freshman for Colorado State at the running back spot. Darius, also from the New Orleans area. So we've taken a look at 6 of the signees. Still plenty more to come here on the program. But first, we take a timeout as Bighorns Live is brought to you by Scheels, your all-sports retail destination. Nissan, shop ChooseNissan.com and take on game day.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Scheels.
Be there when an incredible college basketball season becomes absolute madness. Don't miss the 2018 Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, March 5th through the 10th in Las Vegas. The only way to experience the madness is to be there. Get tickets now at your favorite team's athletic ticket office or visit the MW.com/2018. The Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. Experience the madness.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
All right, welcome back to the Hall of Champions here on the campus of Colorado State University and the beautiful new on-campus stadium. Voice of the Rams, Brian Roth, back with you. Hey, we're going to take a look at some of those next-level Rams and some future schedules coming up in just a moment. But first, a chance to remind you that 2018 football season tickets on sale. Now you can take advantage, of course, affordable payment plans. 800-491-RAMS, 800-491-RAMS. Also, if you want to pick up the latest apparel and gear, well, the Ram Zone, official store of Colorado State Athletics, the latest officially licensed CSU merchandise and gear. 3 locations, CSU on campus stadium, Old Town Fort Collins, and of course down in Denver, there at the Denver Center. Of course, always invite you to join the Ram Club to help support nearly 400 Colorado State student athletes. Learn how you can make your impact at 970-491-4666 or go to csurams.com. And of course, you can always follow us. Social media, don't miss any of the details of Ram football, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, Snapchat. I'm not quite sure what Snapchat is, but apparently it's the rage with all the kids here these days. All right, so let's get back to the newest signees. Again, a 17-player class for head coach Mike Bobo and his coaching staff. So we get right back to the highlights.
Troy Golden of Olympia High School in Orlando, Florida. A 6'3", 207-pound defensive lineman. In high school, Troy had 154 tackles, 25 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries.
All right, so there you see Troy Golden, 6'3", 207 out of Olympia, Florida, and a kid who had 154 tackles and, of course, 25 tackles for a loss. Could be a defensive end, could be a linebacker at Colorado State. And of course, Taquan Jackson, we heard Mike Bobo tell us just moments ago, weren't quite sure if Taquan was going to sign right now or wait to the February signing period, but Jackson signed to the dotted line. He is a Colorado State Ram.
Trey McBride of Fort Morgan High School in Fort Morgan, Colorado. A 6'4", 240-pound tight end, rated 3-star by ESPN and 24/7. In high school, Trey had 64 carries for 361 yards and 3 touchdowns, 89 catches for 1,737 yards and 23 touchdowns, and 310 tackles, 60 tackles for loss, 14 sacks, 7 interceptions, and 6 blocked punts. Trey was named first team All-Colorado as a junior and is the brother of Colorado State defensive lineman Toby McBride.
All right, so there's Trey McBride, the younger brother of Toby McBride, and well, his Final Four came down to Colorado, Kansas State, Cal, and CSU, and he chose to be a Ram again. Great to have Trey McBride on campus at Colorado State. And of course, he comes from Ford Morgan, and kind of reminds you a little bit of former tight end from Ford Morgan, Colorado. Talking about, of course, Joel Dreesen, an all-conference selection at CSU, would go on to great things in the NFL. Moving right along here on Bighorns Live, we're live here at the on-campus stadium. We'll take another timeout. Stay with us. More to come here on CSURams.com.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Shields.
Are you ready? Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me set it off. Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me turn it on.
Have you noticed today that people are in love with local? We believe in local too, and have been custom crafting financial solutions since 1951. From hometown breweries to farmers markets, we strive to do banking with the same love and craft you've grown to count on. Blue Federal Credit Union. For you, for life.
All right, welcome back here to Bighorns Live. It's brought to you by Shields, your all-sports retail destination, the official orange outlet of CSU. And by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com and take on game day. All right, welcome back, everybody, here to the Hall of Champions on the new CSU on-campus stadium. Brian Roth back with you. Happy to be joined by the Director of Athletics at Colorado State, Mr. Joe Parker. Great to see you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, Brian, great to see you as well.
Yeah, this is a perfect place for a show like this, isn't it? The
Tell you
Hall
what,
of Champions.
There's not a better set in college football for a show like this.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Joe, I want to touch on a number of things with you. And first off, you know, you got an extension stay here at Colorado State for 5 years, and I mean, obviously, it shows the commitment the school has to you, that you have to the school. Why is Colorado State such a special place for you? I mean, you're a guy that's been a lot of big-time programs across the nation.
Yeah, you know, I'm in my third year and had no direct-hand experience about Colorado State or Fort Collins prior to moving here, but the things that are important, especially in the role that I serve, is obviously alignment with the president. I think we have one of the best leaders in higher education with Dr. Tony Frank. And so for me, that was important. You know, he's made a commitment, and I felt a personal commitment to him, but also, you know, to the people that I work with on a daily basis within the department. Certainly the people within the community that I've gotten to know that are supportive of CSU as graduates or just fans of the institution, and then just the quality of this place. I mean, it is remarkable. You know, I think any community along the Front Range is pretty special, but there's something about Fort Collins that just the total combination of the people that are here, the type of employment opportunities that are here for folks, just the engagement with active outdoor living, and then the university. I mean, it's just a difficult combination, I think, to match or try and exceed the expectations that we have for what we have here.
Yeah, and I know Ram fans happy to have you around for again, a 5-year extension, another 5 seasons, hopefully more after that, Joe, speaking personally. Your extension came, and then you extended head coach Mike Bobo for 3 years. He's extended now to 2022. And listen, I know this past season wasn't what any of us wanted it to be at 7-6, but I'm here on a daily basis. You obviously are here on a daily basis. We see what goes on day to day and the foundation and the culture that's being built here. And I know that was something that really went into your decision making on the extension.
Yeah, we have an outstanding coaching cohort across all of our 16 varsity programs, but I can't imagine having to do my job without Mike Bobo in the leadership role of our football program. He is, you know, in every estimation, with the comparisons that I've made with other coaches I've worked with, he is really a special person, and someone that I think is doing a remarkable job leading our program. Certainly, you know, after 3 seasons with the finish of 7-6 in each of the last 3 seasons, you know, I think for those of us, fan and administrator, who wants to see progress in wins and losses, you know, we still have some work to do. You know, we're not satisfied with 7 wins, and we've talked a lot about that. But when you kind of get under the hood and you look at the foundational elements that Mike's laying in place, I feel so confident that we are on the right path. And, you know, we've said from the very beginning that our expectation is to win championships, and we want to be the preeminent program within the Mountain West. And there's nothing that I've seen in the last 3 years that has deterred me from that thought. And Mike Bobo's leadership of this program is an important component of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And then, you know, again, you look at the extension, it certainly helps on days like today as well with the recruiting to know when Mike makes that phone call or does the in-house visit that the recruits know that they're going to come here and play for head coach Mike Bobo. So Coach Bobo locked up until 2022. You know, here we are at the Hall of Champions, new stadium, and I know this time last year, going into the summer last year, I mean, you guys are all running around, you know, with your hair on fire trying to get that. I mean, there's a lot of work, and I don't think sometimes it's truly appreciated how much work goes on behind the scenes to get this building ready. But your thoughts on the first year of this structure? I thought it was so much fun to see college football fans and Ram fans converge on campus for 6 Saturdays here this year.
Yeah, it felt magical in so many ways. I mean, that first game through the last game of the season, just to have people experience this university through a football Saturday was a really special activity, special event. And what was nice, you know, was by the end of the season, I think people were still eager for more. You know, when we finalized the season with San Jose State here on campus, you know, I talked to a lot of folks that were like, "You mean that's it? We've got to wait until next September before we get a chance to do this again?" And you know, so I think people were obviously hungry for more. We were very satisfied with the way things went logistically. You know, we've dissected game day pretty heavily, and had a lot of conversations about ways to improve it. We got a fan survey out in the market right now. I've had great response there, and we're going to use all that feedback to improve and enhance what we've already done, and really make this a very special, magical experience for people that want to come to games.
We saw some of the highlights there from over the course of the season, and I still go back and look at that August 26th date against Oregon State, the opening of the stadium, just a beautiful day. Opening of college football, first college football game. I mean, to me, Joe, that's going to be a memory that lasts a lifetime for Ram fans.
Oh, without a doubt. And I got to give so much credit to our staff. You know, every element that was layered in to make that day special worked so well. And the fact that it was a brand new stadium, you know, we were hosting the game for the very first time. Everything went down in a remarkable way, timing-wise. We had a flyover, we had a field-sized flag, we had Mandy Harvey singing the national anthem. You know, we had a Black Hawk helicopter. We had a F-16 flyover. I mean, it was, you know, just there was a lot of things that could have been challenging related to that day, but it went off so well, and you know, just a nice celebration for bringing football back to campus after almost 50 years.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any question the new Belgium porch was a big-time hit. I mean, I remember seeing that, you know, 30 minutes after games here this year, and that place is still packed. People just did not want to go home.
Yeah, we you know, we anticipated that was going to be a signature feature of the stadium, and it certainly was validated with every use for the last 6 games, and that's been a great partnership for us. I mean, we've got a lot of wonderful partners that have helped us get to where we are, but New Belgium is a pretty unique company here in town, and they're headquartered here, and a lot of their leadership team is CSU Rams, so it's just been a great way for us to kind of merge the attitude of both organizations together.
Yeah, of course, again, you have New Belgium with the Porch, Orthopedic and Spine Center of the Rockies with the Field Club. Stadium naming rights, I know that's something you guys continue to work on, isn't it?
Yeah, we do, and we've talked quite a bit about it. You know, we were very fortunate to secure a $20 million anonymous gift. Initially, when those conversations started, we thought that would be our possible naming rights partner, and there was a pivot at the last minute. They wanted to remain anonymous, and one of the most gracious moves I've ever seen in the spirit of philanthropy, they said, you know, we want to be able to bring Sonny Lubic's name to the new stadium by naming the field. So we transferred the Sonny Lubick Field name at Hughes to the new on-campus stadium. And an even bigger step of generosity themselves, after making those two remarkable commitments to us, they said, you know, you can still seek a naming rights partner for the stadium. So we're in the process of doing that. You know, are we working hard on it on a daily basis, you know, trying to, and you know, I don't have any expectation of timing and when that might happen, but we're going to work until we find the right partner to do that for us.
Right. So, you know, we're fully moved into the new stadium here, and earlier today I was up on the 6th floor, Joe, looking out to the west, and just a beautiful day here in Fort Collins. And of course, you see Hughes Stadium sitting out there, and I know we all have great memories of Hughes. Really happy to be here on campus, but the memories at Hughes will never go away. I'm curious, what are the plans for Hughes? Because the structure is still standing out there. The university owns that parcel of land. What are the plans?
Yeah. You know, there is still that really strong attachment to Hughes and those memories, and we'll always have those. But what was interesting, by the end of the season, I never once heard anyone say during one of the 6 home games that, you know, I wish I could dial it back and go back and experience Hughes. I think, you know, we you know, had great memories out there. You know, the future of Hughes is being worked on right now, at least the site. So, you know, we've always anticipated, you know, as one of the primary uses of that would be to reposition it for some kind of future development. Probably not by the university itself, but we'd look to sell it and let the private market decide what the highest use of the site would be. It's 160 acres. Obviously, there's a stadium that sits right in the middle of it. Tony had visited with the Board of Governors about demoing the facility, and we've got permission and approval to do that from the Board of Governors. So that'll happen. We'll basically do all the remediation of asbestos and any other issues that are out there, and then level it, scrape it, right. And then we've got 160 acres of probably one of the largest buildable sites in Fort Collins to do whatever we want to, or whatever a future developer decides to do. But I would guess it'll end up being some kind of residential and maybe light retail components out there.
Right. It's such a beautiful spot of land out there, right at the base of Horsetooth Reservoir. You have Horsetooth looking over that area, and of course, the ghosts of Football Pass still lingering out there.
And some concerts too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mick Jagger was there. I was around back in 1975. I was, but just not old enough to go to a concert back then. Joe, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Congratulations on the first season here at Colorado State. Congratulations on the extension. I know we're happy to have you here in Fort Collins.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
That's Joe Parker, the Director of Athletics here at Colorado State University. We will continue along here on Bighorns Live and continue to take a look at some of the recruits from this 2017 early signing period. Stay with us here on CSURams.com.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Are you ready? Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights. And once we set it off, just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights. And once we turn it on.
Everyone wants to write their own story, to take on something a little bigger than themselves. Sure, you'll face some hurdles along the way, but they're an opportunity. They make you stronger. And they won't break you, they'll make you. Get started at Blue Federal Credit Union, exclusive credit union of CSU Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
All right, welcome back here to Bighorns Live. We're in the Hall of Champions in the beautiful on-campus CSU football stadium. Just finished up the inaugural here in Fort Collins. Brian Roth back with you, the voice of the Rams. And 2017, Rams go bowling for the 5th consecutive season. And Colorado State ended up with 5 wins in the Mountain West Conference. And when you finish in the upper echelon of the conference, you figure you're going to have a lot of all-conference players. And certainly that was the case for Mike Bobo and those Rams as we take a look now at those all-conference guys.
Hands up, Dawkins, big hole, has some room, in the clear to midfield, down the sidelines, Dalen Dawkins to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Well, you just can't handle them. I mean, there's not a defensive back in this conference that can handle number 4 in green. Stevens keeps himself quarterback keeper at the 5, made a man miss. He's in the end zone.
All right, so there you see the all-conference section, all those guys on offense, and everybody first team except for Dalen Dawkins, who certainly could have been first team. Dawkins in conference games rushed for over 100 yards in 7 of those 8 contests, and he was absolutely terrific. He'll close out his CSU career, Dalen Dawkins, well as the 3rd all-time leading rusher at Colorado State. All right, let's get back to the 2017 early signing class for Colorado State and continue to show you some of the highlight reels of the newest Rams.
Florian McCann of Mullen High School in Denver, Colorado. A 6'5", 270-pound offensive lineman, rated 3-star by ESPN. As a high school senior, Florian was named first team All-Colorado.
Of course, you see a pretty good pipeline there from Mullen High School in Denver. A lot of Rams that are already on the roster. And then again, his high school teammate here this past year, Ajon Vivens, also coming to Colorado State. McCann, a 3-star prospect.
Rushton Roberts of Bowles High School in Jacksonville, Florida. A 6'5", 220-pound linebacker, rated 3-star by 24/7. As a senior in high school, Rushton recorded 70 tackles, 8 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and 9 quarterback hurries.
All right, one of the things that certainly jumps out at you from Rushton Roberts, 6'5", 220. And again, a guy who may play the linebacker spot, certainly a kid who can come off the edge as well. Another one of those Florida kids.
Ross Ryder of Brophy College Prep in Phoenix, Arizona. A 6'4", 220-pound long snapper, Ross is ranked as the #2 long snapper in the country. In high school, Ross had 25 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 1 blocked field goal.
All right, so there you see Ross Ryder, a kid who came to camp for Colorado State, and with the departure of Trent Sieg, Colorado State felt like they needed a scholarship, a long snapper. He will be with the Rams, hopefully long snapping for the next 4 years. We heard head coach Mike Bobo tell us earlier in the program, he's the one kid that has to be 100% throughout his 4-year career, can't make any mistakes. And again, he's #2 ranked long snapper in the entire nation. All right, we'll continue along here from the Hall of Champions in Fort Collins, but first, another timeout. Stay with us here. You're watching Bighorns Live on CSURams.com.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Shields.
Be there when an incredible college basketball season becomes absolute madness. Don't miss the 2018 Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, March 5th through the 10th in Las Vegas. The only way to experience the madness is to be there. Get tickets now at your favorite team's athletic ticket office or visit the MW.com/2018. The Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. Experience the madness.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Test scores, GPAs, credits complete. They say what you've done, but they're only part of who you will become. With each new experience, discovery, and triumph, you become who you were always meant to be. And what you'll remember most is your state of curiosity, state of unity, state of awe.
Have you noticed today that people are in love with local? We believe in local too, and have been custom crafting financial solutions since 1951. From hometown breweries to farmers markets, we strive to do banking with the same love and craft you've grown to count on. Blue Federal Credit Union. For you, for life.
All right, welcome back here on this Wednesday afternoon. We bring you back inside the Hall of Champions here on the CSU campus and in the brand new on-campus stadium. Brian Roth back with you. All right, we'll introduce you to more of those signees. Again, 17 and all signed by Mike Bobo and his coaching staff, and really went heavy on the defensive side of the football. 12 of the 17 on the defensive side. They have 4 offensive players, and then of course we just saw Ross Ryder, the long snapper, is the one special teamer that Colorado State has signed here in this early signing period. All right. Well, will any of these guys turn into next-level Rams? Certainly a lot of them out there. Let's take a look at some of the Rams that are certainly doing well at the next level. And, of course, Shaquille Barrett, Bronco fans have had a chance to watch him. 4 sacks on the season. How about Capri Bibbs last week? A 36-yard touchdown reception in his first game of the year with the Washington Redskins. Of course, Crockett Gilmore, Weston Richburg battling some injuries here this year. Ty Sambrilo has hooked on with the Atlanta Falcons. And then Corey James has started 9 games this year. And then Rashard Higgins having the best year of his young career, 22 catches for Rashard in the Cleveland Browns for 224 yards. Here's what the future schedules look like for Colorado State, and you see it's ambitious. Look at the schedule next year. Neutral site in Denver with Colorado. Then you get an SEC team that makes their way into Fort Collins with Arkansas. They'll have a new head coach. Of course, Florida, a trip down to the Swamp. They have a new head coach as well. And then you have Illinois State coming up next year. That is going to be a fun schedule coming up next season for Colorado State. And again, an SEC team coming in, get the Colorado game, then you get the Mountain West Conference slate that includes Wyoming coming up next season. All right, let's continue to introduce you to the 2017 class of early signees for Colorado State Ram football.
Zach Schlager of McCook High School in McCook, Nebraska. A 6'1", 215-pound linebacker, rated 3-star by 24/7. In high school, Zach had 163 carries for 1,291 yards and 23 touchdowns, along with 235 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, and 6 forced fumbles. Zach was named honorary captain of the 2017 All-Nebraska team and is the brother of CSU's all-time leader in games played, safety Jake Schlager.
All right, so there's Zach Schlager, and again, he's the younger brother of Jake Schlager, who played 56 games in a Ram uniform. And Zach probably projects more as a linebacker, where Jake, who has been a stalwart for Colorado State, of course, was a safety. And again, another thing you recognize with Zach, he is a kid who plays multiple sports.
John Vivens of Mullen High School in Denver, Colorado. A 6', 180-pound wide receiver, ranked 3-star by ESPN. In high school, John had 102 carries for 705 yards and 5 touchdowns, along with 99 receptions for 1,644 yards and 16 touchdowns. John was also named First Team All-Colorado as a senior.
All right, so there's Ajon Vivens, 3-star athlete from ESPN. And again, had to run the football a little more this year out of need, but was the leading rusher for the Mustangs, 705 total yards, and a kid who also got it done on the outside.
Gary Williams of Zebulon B. Vance High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. A 6', 3-inch, 230-pound tight end, ranked 3-star by 24/7.
So Colorado State goes all the way down to Charlotte to get Gary Williams as the second tight end in this class, along with Trey McBride of Fort Morgan. And we heard head coach Mike Bobo say they love the upside of Williams. All right, we'll take another timeout. More to come here on Big Horns Live. We continue from Fort Collins coming up after this.
Have you noticed today that people are in love with local? We believe in local too, and have been custom crafting financial solutions since 1951. From hometown breweries to farmers markets, we strive to do banking with the same love and craft you've grown to count on. Blue Federal Credit Union. For you, for life.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Shields.
All right, back here in the Hall of Champions on the campus of Colorado State University, the voice of the Rams, Brian Roth, back with you. We continue along on Big Horns Live, taking you up until 3 o'clock. And again, we'll take a look at the final two of the 17 signees here in this early signing class for Mike Bobo and Colorado State. But get a chance to remind you that season tickets are on sale now for the 2018 season. And able to purchase new season tickets by calling 1-800-491-RAMS or visit csurams.com/tickets. Of course, if you're getting your tickets, you need some Rams gear as well. The Ram Zone is the official store of Colorado State Athletics. Shop for the latest officially licensed CSU merchandise and gear right here at the stadium, Old Town Fort Collins, and down in Denver. Of course, you can join the Ram Club. It goes to support nearly 400 Colorado State University student athletes. To learn more on how you can make your impact, go to csurams.com/Rams Club or call 491-4666. And you can follow Colorado State football on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course on Snapchat. All right, 17 players inked their national letters of intent here today. We've shown you 15. We get now to the final two highlights.
Quinn Brennan of Bishop O'Dowd High School in Oakland, California. A 6-foot, 180-pound safety rated 3-star by ESPN and 24/7. On defense as a sophomore and junior, Quinn logged 106 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 13 passes defended. Quinn played quarterback as a senior, throwing for 1,736 yards and 33 total touchdowns.
Try to get another one of those Colorado State Rams that has a championship on his resume, and you see a lot of Mountain West Conference schools were interested in him, and forced to play quarterback as a senior. Certainly not his natural position. All he did is scored 33 touchdowns.
Devin Phillips of Neville High School in Monroe, Louisiana. A 6'2", 305-pound lineman ranked 4-star by ESPN, 3-star by 24/7, and 2-star by Rivals. Devin is also ranked 245 on the ESPN 300 and is ESPN's 6th-ranked player in Louisiana and 12th-ranked offensive guard in the country. Devin is also the brother of current Colorado State offensive lineman Joctavius Phillips.
All right, how many pancakes did we see out of Devin Phillips there on the offensive line? Rams going to play him on the defensive line. At least that's the plan as of today, December the 20th. Will fit perfectly right there in the interior of the line. Of course, his brother, Joctavius, is on campus. So that really was the big get for Mike Bobo in Colorado State. Working that phone call late last night, and it kind of rounds out a terrific class for Colorado State. Again, they get 17 early signees, probably going to go up to 26 signees here this season. So Colorado State, 9 more spots left to come. And again, the next signing period comes up on February the 7th. That's that traditional signing period of the first Wednesday in February. All right, more to come here on Bighorns Live, but first we'll take another timeout. Stay with us right here on CSURams.com.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas.
Be there when an incredible college basketball season becomes absolute madness. Don't miss the 2018 Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, March 5th through the 10th in Las Vegas. The only way to experience the madness is to be there. Get tickets now at your favorite team's athletic ticket office or visit the MW.com/2018. The Mountain West Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. Experience the madness.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
All right, welcome back here to Bighorns Live. Brian Roth back with you here in Fort Collins. And I'm happy to be joined by a couple of guests. We have Nick Popwell, Assistant Athletic Director for Marketing and Digital Media, and then Lacey Williams, Assistant Athletic Director for Ticket Sales and Operations. We got long titles.
We do.
Like
we do.
it.
Yeah.
I got it right though, right?
You did.
Okay,
You did,
good.
Brian. So thank you.
Good. Absolutely. They just call me the radio guy around here, so it's just quite simple.
The voice.
That's the voice. That's right. I go by that too. Nick, let's start with you. I mean, this beautiful building here, and fans finally got to get a first glimpse of it last year. Talk a little bit about some of the feedback of the fan experience that Ram fans had here.
Well, I think Joe Parker hit on it earlier in a segment, and he also mentioned it several times throughout the season. It's not necessarily the biggest stadium. It's a good size, but it's probably the most beautiful and most advanced college football stadium out there. So, we took a lot of time to, throughout the summer and throughout the season, for that matter, to fully utilize all of its technologies, and we look at from the fan experience side, the sound system, the video board that's about the size of a basketball court, and hopefully our fans saw some things as we progressed. As the team progresses throughout the season, we try to do the same thing from a fan experience side. So with the video board and music, and with the band and Spirit Squad, we try to pull all that together and create, as what we like to say, is extraordinary experiences on game day for our fans. And I think we did a good job this last year, but we're not satisfied with that. We're continually trying to hone in our craft and make game day better each time, so fans come back and it's a fresh experience.
Yeah, I know. Speaking from a longtime Ram fan that I have been, back when we first got that first video Jumbotron at Sonny Lubick Field at Hughes Stadium, it was terrific. But then you move here and it's like, wow. I mean, that video, boy, I imagine a lot of fans had to have loved that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're competing with, Brian, is we've got to have a big board, and you see it all across the country, and what we're competing with, as I mentioned there, is the home experience. And we got, with the LED TVs that people have in their houses now, we've got to try to replicate that experience in the stadium. And we're lucky to have an unbelievable video crew here within CSU Athletics with Ram Vision, and what we tried to do this year was broadcast oriented content. So you saw a lot of elements, some facts, figures if you got in during pregame, but also during the game, updated stats on the video board, out-of-town scores. So fans can continue to expect that, and even more in coming seasons.
Right, and the amount of ribbon board in the stadium too is terrific. Lacey, you handled ticket sales, and I know it was a record year for Colorado State, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. We sold out of all of the premium, priority, all the lower bowl and season tickets, surpassed right around 15,500 season tickets, which is a record here. Exceeded all expectations with many plans, sold out 3 games. I think our homecoming game sold out several weeks in advance, so couldn't be happier with that, but continuing to grow and hoping to sell out every game.
Right.
Forward.
Well, so it's the first time, we've had some premium seating, obviously, at Hughes Stadium, but you have the special venues inside the stadium, the OCR Field Club, you have the New Belgium Porch. What was the fans' reaction to that? Because those went pretty quick, didn't they?
Those sold out early on. Fans loved it. I think one thing that we noticed, fans liked to stay there. Once they got down in those areas, they wanted to stay and wanted to enjoy the game from those premium areas. And so we had a lot of people staying in there, packed house. People generally loved those, and we continue to see how we can develop any kind of those premium areas for our fans.
Yeah, again, the Colorado State averaging over 32,000 fans per game this year. That is a new record here at Colorado State. So tickets are on sale for next year, 2018. Lacey, how is that going, and what's the process for Rams, and is there a deadline on that?
There is. So tickets are on sale now. You can renew your tickets online, logging into your account. The deadline to do that is March 1st. You can also we're taking requests for new season tickets. The upgrade process in that and getting those seats assigned will happen in the spring. So we're hoping to see, we've seen a lot of new excitement and energy from new season ticket holders already jumping on the board to be in part of the new stadium and the new fan experience and atmosphere. And then, generally overall positive with renewals, and we've got online and phone calls and phones ringing and people coming in. So.
Yeah, I haven't talked to any fans that, Nick, that had been here to a game and did not walk away being like, wow, that was cool. And it's back on campus, and it gives folks an opportunity to walk around campus when maybe they hadn't for many number of years, probably since they had graduated. Now, one of the things coming into the year that I was curious to see how it would play out is parking and traffic. And the traffic, certainly, I mean, it was almost non-existent. I mean, it's 100 times better than it was going out to Hughes. But what did you guys hear from fans regarding that?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of work that went into those plans, within our department, university, with the city. Doug Max, who's our senior associate for facilities and event management, put in a lot of work and several years, collaborating with everybody, and it really wasn't an issue, which is great to see. We had a lot of people riding mass transportation, taking the Max, taking shuttle buses, using Uber, Lyft, bikes. That's exactly right, Lacey. So it was fun to see, and it's probably a lot of that has to do with it being on a centralized location now. We're in the heart of Fort Collins. We're back on campus, and it's very exciting to have that. And it opens the door for other fans that maybe didn't think about going out to Hughes. Is that game day is in your face, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah, absolutely. How about some of the promotions and campaigns you guys did this year that worked? And I imagine you guys are already starting to work on new promotions here at the stadium for next year.
You're exactly right. We're in knee deep already with the planning process, Brian. One of the things that we debuted last year was Stripe the Stadium. I think that created a really epic look for that first game in the new stadium. We'll do that again for Arkansas, and that helps our ticket sales as well to have someone like Arkansas come in here, an SEC opponent. So we're excited about that. We continue to build out Ag Day and our relationships there because that goes back to our Aggie heritage. And then there's also initiatives that we're also working on, such as, Take a Kid to the Game, Extra Yard for Teachers, which was a huge collaboration with Poudre School District, and we actually rewarded 10 classrooms with, from $2,500 worth of school resources and supplies all the way down to $500. And that was part of that was doing a poetry contest, and so that was a lot of fun. And that's what we're trying to do, and I think that's the reason why we built the stadium on campus, was to create that connection with the community, and we're trying to do that every time we can.
You talked about some of the technology with the new stadium, and I know for the folks that were at the Boise State game, again, a night game, when the team was coming out, the entire stadium lights went down, and then literally there was a light show. And I've never seen that. I'm used to those old stadiums where, boom, you turn off the lights, it's going to be 20, 25 minutes before the lights come back on, right? I mean, that was really cool. I know the Ram fans that were there understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a fun thing about technology and where we're at right now. We can do some pretty cool stuff, and in future night games, we'll have a unique show with the lights and add that in. We also, hopefully people notice, a new fog curtain for the team to run through. We had flame towers. We had the green smoke as well. It's about the show. It's about the event, like we all say. It's kind of cliche, but it's so important that we do that on game day, that it's not always just about the game on the field. It's about what's going on and how our fans are interacting and having fun.
All right, Lacey, now Nick mentioned the Arkansas game coming up next year. You still have Colorado at the neutral site, Illinois State in. You get Wyoming coming in next year. It's a great slate for folks to, if they haven't already, or if they wanted to re-up to get their season tickets.
Yeah, re-up to get season tickets. And then in addition to that, a season ticket perk is you'll get a chance to order your single game tickets in advance of the general public. So if you want additional tickets to Arkansas, you'll be able to add that on when you purchase your season tickets, and when you'll get the first shot at those that are great seats, and we'll fill those before we go on live sale to the general public. So the perk of being a season ticket holder.
All right, looking forward to next year. Listen, I know it's only December 20th, but I'm getting fired up to get a new season of college football back underway. Nick Lacey, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Very much.
Go Rams.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a timeout. More to come here on Bighorns Live following this on CSURams.com.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Shields.
Are you ready? Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me set it off. Just turn it on. Just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me turn it on.
Have you noticed today that people are in love with local? We believe in local too, and have been custom crafting financial solutions since 1951. From hometown breweries to farmers markets, we strive to do banking with the same love and craft you've grown to count on. Blue Federal Credit Union. For you, for life.
Test scores, GPAs, credits complete. They say what you've done, but they're only part of who you will become. With each new experience, discovery, and triumph, you become who you were always meant to be. And what you'll remember most is your state of curiosity, state of unity, state of awe.
Bighorns Live brought to you by Shields, your all-sports retail destination and the official orange outlet of Colorado State. And by Nissan, shop ChooseNissan.com, take on game day. All right, welcome back one final time here into the Hall of Champions. Voice of the Rams, Brian Roth, back with you. Thanks for tuning in today. Of course, we've been on the air, on the stream since 1 o'clock, and boy, it's been a terrific day. 17 in all is what Mike Bobo and his coaching staff have signed. And again, second signing period coming up on February the 7th. Colorado State looking at probably 8, 9 signees coming up there, but a big chunk of that class taken care of here this morning. All right, well, let's take a look at those players one more time as we bring up the big board. And of the 17 players, 12 on the defensive side of the ball. And there are 11 of them. Didn't have enough space to get all the defensive guys there. And, of course, Devin Phillips, you look at the defensive lineman from Monroe, Louisiana. He was the last of the 17 and pledging his commitment to Colorado State. Great to see him on board. Daquan Jackson, also another big get. That's a big-time class right there on the defensive side. Offensively for Colorado State, you see Damian Dickens, also a defensive end there, and then a couple of tight ends, Trey McBride, the younger brother of Toby McBride, and a couple of Mullen Mustangs, Ajon Vivens and Florian McCann from Denver, Ross Ryder, the long snapper, and then another tight end, and Gary Williams coming to Fort Collins all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's going to wrap up the coverage here today of Bighorns Live. Early signing period. A lot of folks didn't know how the day would go, but it seems like I think a lot of folks across the country, like college programs, signing a lot of players in this early signing period, and Colorado State one of them. Again, 17 signees here today. Thank you to everybody that joined us. Athletic Director Joe Parker, of course, Lacey Williams and Nick Popplewell joined me a moment ago, and then, of course, the head football coach at Colorado State, Mr. Mike Bobo. For the entire Ram Vision crew, Brian Roth saying so long, and thanks for watching Bighorns Live.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Everyone wants to write their own story, to take on something a little bigger than themselves. Sure, you'll face some hurdles along the way, but they're an opportunity. They make you stronger, and they won't break you, they'll make you. Get started at Blue Federal Credit Union, exclusive credit union of CSU Athletics. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Here's to the givers, the makers of smiles, igniters of dreams, who give of themselves unto others, who embody the true spirit of the season. With gifts of hope, compassion, and time, here's to the givers who give from the heart and make Christmas magic. Merry Christmas from Shields.